if you didn't see part one, I have part one over there. Just to recap real quick, part one, Trump did not at all come through with his promise. He rather go on his vengeance tour against liberals for what they did to him over the last 12 years. Blah, blah, blah. So what I was getting into was the way RV dealerships are going to stay in business and make money is through the ordering system, through the retail ordering system. So if you want, let's say, for example, if you want let's use Arctic Fox as an example. So you want an Arctic Fox 865 truck camper. Well, what dealers are going to do is dealerships are going to say, okay, I have a 811 in stock, so you can at least see what a 811 looks like. If you want the 865, here's the virtual tour. Okay. And you do a virtual tour. Like I do a lot of virtual tours through YouTube and other media like Instagram and TikTok and things like that. So what happens after that is you then mark off all your options, and they're going to give you a better price on the one coming from the factory than they will with the one on the lot, because that's the way the ordering system is going to go to be able to do that. So retailers are going to start getting smarter about inventory. So they're not going to carry it. It's going to be very, very, very difficult for a consumer starting in probably 2026 to go to an RV show and see every single model they want to see. You're going to mainly do all of your shopping through virtual tour, through YouTube, TikTok, different influencers. So if you don't think that this hasn't been recognized, that this has been recognized by other media outlets or other retailers, it has. Because let's look at it from this perspective. There are more corporate RV dealership YouTubers. No. There are more corporate RV dealership YouTubers, and I'm going to talk about that here in a minute, Steve. That's a good point you brought up. Than there ever has been. So you used to just have, let's say, Josh the RV Nerd, who became corporate just a couple years ago. You got Matt's RV Reviews. He's been on and off. You know, sometimes he works for General. There's been a time where he was an independent. Miles RV, MYLES. He's with Blue Compass. You used to have, like, you know, the RV Hunter. You used to have 6, maybe 7 of them. Now there's over 50. There are 50 corporate RV dealership YouTubers. That's a net gain of 44 in 3 years. 44. Okay. So let's go to what if the quality's bad? Well, first off, you're going to get to see the unit, see the manufacturer's workmanship when you go. So you'll be able to see, let's say, and this is just an example. I'm using this as an example. So let's use Brinkley again as an example. So Brinkley has a 3600Z on the lot, but you want a 3100. And there's not a 3100 anywhere in the country that you can go visually see. But you can go visually see the 3600, see the craftsmanship, see how it's built, see how it's put together. Then you go, okay, I like it. I like the way they put it together, but this is the floor plan I want. So they're going to take you through a virtual tour. So if it's, let's say, again, I'm going to use an example that doesn't exist, but let's say Camping World has Brinkley. They never will have Brinkley, but let's say Camping World has Brinkley. So Camping World now has, what, 13 different YouTubers, right, that are corporated. They're brand ambassadors, whatever the hell you want to call them, right? And what happens is one of them is doing all the Brinkley RV stuff, and they do a complete virtual tour of, 15, 20, 25 minutes, whatever that case may be. You say, yep, that's the layout we want. We've seen the 3600, we like the craftsmanship, we like the cabinets, we like this, we like that. The virtual tour, we go through it. Yep, that works perfect. You place your order. And 12 weeks later, bam, here comes your fifth wheel. So it's going to make you shop 3 months. It's going to make you make a decision and buy something 3 to 4 months in advance of what you normally would do if you just walked over the lot and grabbed a trailer. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's all kinds of stuff, right? I mean, Larry makes a good point there. But trim falls off everywhere. It doesn't matter who it is. Trim always falls off. It's just a fact of life, okay? It's an earthquake on wheels. I haven't run into one brand that doesn't have some kind of trim falling off once in a while. I mean, that's not uncommon. Well, if one shows up bad, that's going to have to be something between the dealer and the manufacturers. So what happens is, we're going to go back to Arctic Fox, okay? Because Arctic Fox builds a really good truck camper. Arctic Fox builds an 865 for a guy. It comes in, the freaking slide's falling out, the roof's caving in, whatever the case may be. It goes through a check-in process by the dealership, okay? Now, what's probably going to happen is the way that process is going to happen is going to change. So the way that process will probably change as this moves forward because of Trump. What will happen is that the dealerships will probably cut their sales staff. Let's say they have 150 units on the lot. They'll probably cut their sales staff from 5 people down to 2, and then hire 3 quality control guys. That all their job is every order that comes in, they go through it like a PDI. Right? And if they find something wrong with the driver there, they send it back to the factory. Okay? That's probably what will happen. I haven't run into that too often. I've run into that maybe 3 total times in 15 years. And I've done a lot of retail orders because that used to be the norm. Retail orders actually used to be the norm on higher end units. I'm going to tell you right now, like Tiffin motorhomes, when you go to the Allegro buses, it's rare that someone buys one off the lot. 99 times out of 100, it's an order. With a lot of Northwood manufacturing and outdoors RV stuff, a lot of it's retail order because they limit how much they build for the dealers, right? You know, back in the day when the Brady boys who started Alliance, when they were with Heartland, when they started Heartland, 9 times out of 10, a Bighorn or a Landmark was an order. Because we didn't carry every floor plan. We carried 3 floor plans in each. And some people wanted a different body paint. Some people wanted maybe a generator or stupid fly or whatever, right? So it was very much now the interesting part is YouTube really wasn't around or prevalent back then. It really wasn't. None of the social media or the videography was it. So the people were like, well, this is the floor plan we want. They see pictures online and ordered off of pictures once they saw one of them in person. So that's kind of how people were on Tiffin and Newmar and Landmark and Montana Big Sky. Montana Big Sky was huge for orders, right? Because a dealer would go broke and out of business if they carried every floor plan of $150,000 to $160,000 fifth wheels and $500,000 motorhomes. They go broke. They wouldn't be able to stay in business. So the majority of them were orders. Okay. Yeah. So, and Steve, that's going to become more difficult. So the only way it's going to get better is if President Trump steps up and starts his campaign promise. His campaign promise was to lower grocery prices at the grocery store starting day 1. And ever since he's taken office, grocery prices have done nothing but go up. The cost of living has done nothing but go up over the 50 days he's been in office. And nothing he has done, in my opinion, has done anything that's going to help us lower prices in the immediate future. All he's done is go on a vengeance tour. So if you really want that not to happen and the industry not to go that way, then somebody needs to get on the phone with Donald Trump and tell him get his butt in gear and do what he said he was going to do starting day 1, which he hasn't done. fact of life. People don't go buy families who make up 41%. I'm talking a family of 4, 2 kids, mom, dad, mom, dad, whatever the case may be, or however they identify, make up 41% of the RV sales. They don't go buy bunkhouse travel trailers. They don't. Not when they're worried about putting food on the table. Retirees only make up 36% of retail sales on new RVs. They're the biggest consumer of used RVs. Over 50% of the used RVs are actually bought by retirees. But new RVs is only 36%. So you can't survive on 36%. So how do you survive on 36%? How do you survive with all the baby boomers retiring? How do you survive? How do you make money? How do you become profitable? You got to lower your cost. How do you lower your cost? You carry less inventory. You do everything by retail order. You do everything through digital marketing. So I'm going to tell you that when I was in Pahrump and I had that dealership open, you know how many people were buying my stuff sight unseen just because of all my videos? Tons. So it's proof positive that that system can work. But people are going to have to, so for example, you're going to go to Hershey. This isn't going to happen this year, but it's going to probably start happening in 2026 if Trump doesn't start lowering the grocery bills really quick. Screw the stock market for a minute. Stock market goes up and down. That's just a fact of life, okay? But what's the most important is the grocery bill. You get the grocery bill and the energy bills down, and you start showing people that and give them confidence back that you're actually going to do the right thing, not go on a vengeance tour against the liberals, then this may not happen. But there's proof positive that this kind of thing can work at the retail level, because how many people do you think, and I'm going to pick on Josh the RV nerd for a second, okay? How many, before Bish's RV bought out the whole thing, and he went and changed his name to Josh the RV nerd with Bish's RV or whatever it is, how many people do you think went to Michigan to Haylett RV and bought an RV from either Josh or somebody at the dealership just based on a video that he did on a certain product? How many people do you think drove 10, 12, 15, 20 hours to meet the nerd? I would guarantee you it's more than one. And I guarantee you it's probably a shit ton of people. Okay? Just based on how many people would drive from Montana down to Pahrump, Nevada to buy a toy hauler from me. Even better. So my former employer, this is interesting. My former employer comes to the lot in Pahrump, okay? And he came down with the intention of just kind of hanging out and maybe helping here and there with just the little things, okay? Because he knew we were doing like everything on our own. And I had 7 people picking up on this Saturday, 7 people. And I had 3 technicians doing all the walkthroughs, hitch work. And I think things went pretty smoothly. People were very patient, okay? 6 out of the 7 people that went to pick up that day came from another state besides Nevada. 3 came from California, 2 came from Montana, one being Billings, Montana, which is not an easy drive to Pahrump, Nevada. Spokane, Washington was the other one, okay? And my former employer, he was sitting there with all the people just chatting with them, and he goes, "So where are you folks from?" And one guy says, "Oh, we live in Billings, Montana." And he goes, "Well, that's one heck of a drive. What brought you here?" And he goes, "Oh, we saw this guy on YouTube," and he got the exact trailer we were looking for. I'm like, I found like 9 of them on the way down. I knew there was more than just the one I had in stock. The guy drove all the way from Billings, Montana. Okay. Then he asked another couple. Another couple lived in Palmdale, California. Palmdale, California is a 8-minute drive to Bobby Wayne's RV in Lancaster. Another one of the stores. They had the product in stock there, and the people still drove to Pahrump, Nevada over a video. I can only imagine, now we'll pick on Matt's RV reviews, okay, and Matt's towable reviews for Matt. How many people do you think have driven from New York, Kentucky, Texas to Florida to go buy a coach from Matt? Because of a video he did on a motorhome, etc. I guarantee you it's more than one. Okay, so yes, I know the video and virtual tour and virtual shopping thing actually is where the industry is going, period. But now it's going to a point where it's going to be virtual shop order. Unless Trump gets his head out of his ass. Which I don't think he will, because he's not going to run for re-election. He can't. So he's just going to, the way it looks, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in the long term we'll be okay, but the long term doesn't matter to me. What matters to me today is what my grocery bill is today, not what my grocery bill is going to be 10 years from now. I may not be even alive in 10 years. We don't know when our expiration date is. We all have one. It's stamped somewhere on our body. We have an expiration date. We don't live forever. So I'm more worried about today than I am worried about 10 years from now. I could care less. We could be $150 trillion in debt with the government. Don't care right now. Care about my grocery bill going down. Care about rent going down. Care about affordability happening again. Not gouging. Okay? I want to tell you that the dealerships that severely gouged people during COVID, most of them aren't around anymore. Did people make more money? The people that make more money during COVID? Sure. But the car dealerships that gouged people 25, 30 grand over sticker for a truck during COVID, they're going bye-bye. I'm not going to give him time until he actually gets up off his ass and starts the process. And it starts at the wholesale level. It sells at that nut and bolt guy, like I was talking about earlier. The guy that sells the energy to retailers. The guy that sells wheat seeds to the farmer. The person that sells strawberry seeds to the farmer. They're gouging them. You got to get those guys under control. Only the federal government can get those guys under control. So far, no president has ever done it, including Trump. Because I guarantee you those guys are the ones that fund most of the campaigns. The guy that, not the farmer himself, but the guy that the farmer buys his manure from, buys his water from, buys his seeds from. Those are the people that are gouging the crap out of America. Their cost didn't go up since COVID. Their cost has gone down, but they keep charging more. So their cost goes down and they increase their price. Imagine that. Your food prices could go down if Donald Trump gets the guy that sells the seeds to the farmer to stop gouging the farmer. If Donald Trump would just sign the water rights for free water to the farmers across the United States, off federal land water, lowers the price of food. He has that authority. He hasn't done it. So now water's being sold to the farmers at a ridiculous amount of money because it's a limited resource. Sure. Let's see. What other example could I give you? Oh, steel and aluminum tariffs. That's not going to help us because aluminum and steel that's actually made in the United States is triple the cost of stuff from other countries. So who does tariffs actually help? It helps the guy that's gouging people in the United States on steel and aluminum, which the manufacturers buy, like Lippert. See, people get mad at Lippert. Let me defend Lippert just a minute. Lippert is not a wholesaler of materials. They're a wholesaler of components. There's a difference. So the guy selling the materials for Lippert to build whatever they're going to build, okay, hot water heaters or whatever division of Lippert, tongue jacks, etc. Lippert is being gouged by the people that sell the materials for it. See, the system's broken because no politician wants to get in the middle of the guy that sells the seed, that sells the silver, that sells the little tiny nut and bolt, the little Phillips screw, the plastic to put together your screwdriver or your cordless drill. Those people are gouging the holy crap out of America and have been doing it for 5 years. They have not lowered their price at all. As their cost goes down, they raise their price. Or they keep the price the same as they did 3-4 years ago. And President Trump has the authority to make Congress bring those people to the light of day. And let me tell you, when they're recognized in grocery stores and recognized in Walmart and recognized, they can't hide behind their Honda Civic, their Toyota Camrys, and their Goodwill shorts and t-shirts anymore. Now people will recognize them and go, hey, can you please lower your prices for they're going to get hounded because people are going to be like, hey, you can't keep gouging the people that make our food, that build our products. Stop it. So as energy and wholesale materials go down in cost to manufacturers, the manufacturers pass those savings on to hiring more people, creating more jobs, which in turn lowers costs to the grocery store, which takes our grocery bill from $200 a week for a growing family down to $170. And then it just slowly goes down. And then it'll go back up a little bit here and there because of eggs and the price of milk and, those things fluctuate. But when you go to the grocery store and the only thing you can afford is Top Ramen, and you got growing 14-year-old girls, well, 13 gonna be 14, they can't live and die on Top Ramen. Can't do it. And if the RV industry wants the manufacturing to come back, we need that 41%. We need that family of 4, family of 5, family of 6 to come out and start buying bunkhouse trailers. If they come out and start buying bunkhouse trailers again, then it will increase production, which makes dealerships more inclined to want to carry more selection of inventory, which in turn makes you, the consumer, happier because you, the consumer, now feel like you're getting a shopping experience because you've actually touched more units than what you want to see, and makes your decision process easier because we always want to touch and feel before we buy. But it's going to be very hard to do if Trump continues down the path he's going. Yeah, even top ramen's expensive. Absolutely. So it just, my biggest example to you that are Republicans and Democrats is you guys keep arguing and fighting over the wrong things. The quality will increase on RVs if you get production back to normal. I'm telling you, I've had that discussion. I've had that podcast episode. You can't go from building 3 a day to 9 a day, back to 4 a day, back to 5 a day, back to 2 a day. It fucks the whole system up. When it's a consistency, we're building 9 or 10 a day. If that's the normal, quality goes up. And so far, we haven't had a problem. Like a lot of the products that I'm helping out with, Intech RV, Northwood Manufacturing, Forest River Flagstaff. Surprisingly, the Primetime Avengers actually have been pretty good. The stuff coming in. The stuff we've been getting, no problems. Stuff we've been selling, like small little things that always happen on first trips and second trips. It's kind of feeling a little normal. But then again, how long will that last? Well, Forest River Flagstaff and Rockwood can't keep their production level at a normal pace. Quality will go down. How does quality go back up? Trump gets his head out of his ass, does what he said he was going to do. It starts with him. I know you guys don't want to hear it, but it starts with Trump. And then it trickles down. If Trump sticks to what the American mandate is, which is lower prices at the grocery store, the rest will figure itself out. It'll trickle down. You get the guy selling the corn seeds. Like that's a bad example, but I'm just making an example. You get the guy that sells the corn seeds to 90% of the farmers in America. You get him to drop his profit margin from 1,000% to 200%. The farmer's it's gonna cost the farmer less money to raise and grow corn. If the guy that's selling manure and all the neato stuff for the soil for the farmer drops his profit margin from 2,000% down to 500%, that gets passed down to the farmer, that gets passed down to the consumer, that gets passed down, and so on and so on and so forth. It starts at the wholesale level. Steve, generally, used is usually, it depends. New is pretty, like, manufacturers and dealers have dropped their profit margins so much on new that when interest rates go down, even with the increase in profit margin, when rates go down, it'll be more affordable. And new will sell faster, but new's still going to sell more than used because used is harder to finance. Used is when people start looking at payments. So I'll give you an example. Family of 5 walks over. They have 10,000 cash. They start walking around, going to private sellers, going to dealers, going to auctions, going wherever, and they start looking at $10,000 travel trailers because that's how much money you have. And then they got decent credit and they look at a new Forest River Rockwood 27 BHWE, okay? And the price is, let's say, 37 or 38 grand, okay? They put 10 grand down, their payment's like $320 a month. They're like, do we want to buy something that's a 2025 for $320 a month, or do we want to buy the thing that we don't know what's going to happen to it? So that's a catch-22. The majority of retirees, the biggest portion of used RVs are sold to retirees, and it's mostly motorized. And that's because motorhomes are really extremely overpriced new. And so the affordability, as you said, so that's more in the motorhome side of things. But even fifth wheels, like retirees buy more used than they do new. Yeah, you typically the reason why people buy used when they're retirees is not based on money all the time. A lot of times it's based on other factors. Like somebody did a survey on used vehicles in general. This is cars, things. Number one reason they bought used was not money. Number one reason why they bought used was because they were taught to buy used. Number one. They were taught that let somebody else take the depreciation. That was the number one reason. Money was like affordability was only like number 4 or 5 on the list. So it's not really based in affordability. Yeah, motorhomes, typically motorhomes, it's about affordability because you can go buy a nice 2000, like I just sold a 2015 Southwind to a lovely couple in Gulf, California. And, you know, I mean, you're talking about a $70,000 motorhome, right? That same motorhome right now is like $180. Sell price, not MSRP, selling prices. It's just nutty. So, anyway. Well, that's everything for today, guys. I gotta do my thing. And I just want to say hi. See you.